Hello, my name is Alun, my pronouns are he, him, and tonight I'm running the second of a longish series of Eotenweard, my endlessly in development PbtA game of gritty Dark Age adventure and defending the innocent against a darkness rising across the Old North. Want to know more about that? Go back and look at the 40 odd recordings of Eotenweard from start to finish. You can see the entire development process in action. But we are currently our heroes. One of our heroes can't be here tonight, but c'est la vie. Uh, our heroes are at Rhunsbeck, a Saxon settlement in the Saxon kingdom of Bernicia. It's kind of East Yorkshire for those of you with a wanting a bit of geography. Um, and they have they told me what was wrong with this settlement, and I'll just read the signs and portents. A dream of the heroes being trapped or feeling trapped. The smell taste of fresh blood comes out of nowhere. A murder of crows explodes out of a nearby tree, like in a previous dream. And Merryn has noticed a surprisingly well defended by a stockade and a watchtower. So that's what we got to work with so far. The characters have visited some gloomy caverns nearby, and so I think we will pick up the morning after the night before, which I think is where we left off, um, when Octavia, our storyteller, who is not here tonight, declares that they are going to go back to those caverns just to have another look round. Nothing will happen to them. They will be off screen, and we will do a love letter for them next time. But the three of you, I am curious what you're going to do. So, Wulftan, have you had any thoughts about what you might want to be doing next?
So we just to remind myself, last time we went to the caverns and we encountered a ghost or spirit um, that led us to discover a set of manacles, right?
Not actual manacles, but the manacles did not remain after the spirit had gone. But
Oh, okay, okay.
yes. The spirit appeared to be attempting to beat you, I think, with a set of manacles before you were able to humble it
Right.
and see it off. And we have two insights in play at the moment. Dead slaves, thick walls, and shackles are all that remain. And it might be worth me just explaining how the mystery revolution works here. If you connect those two together to to identify the darkness, the source of the darkness, the incarnate darkness, whatever, you would need to roll for a revelation. Now, if you can connect both of those, you would currently be rolling +0. Because I have deliberately set the depth of shadow here at only 2. The next insight you find will take you to +1, and then +2, and ultimately +3 if you want to go that far. So it is about how far you want to pursue your investigations. But yeah, that is as far as you've got so far. And I think we had a vision or a bit of information from our storyteller that was then substantiated by the memory of our duality, that there was a slave rising in the Roman villa that previously occupied this area, and I think all we saw was the family being dragged off. And I think you may have drawn the conclusion that that spirit was in some way related to the family of Romans. So that's my recollection, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. So with that, because I'm looking at Will because he will have made some notes on this almost certainly.
And that was all in line with the notes. I believe that there was actually a set of manacles found within the caves as well.
Oh right, yeah, they just have no particular mechanical value.
Yes, yes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I think the only thing that was more specific, if I remember correctly, was that the spirit was indeed the actual slaver, as in probably,
The Lord of the
pater
Manor sort of thing.
familias.
Yes.
Yes.
Fine. So we've confirmed all of that. My question is, where will this search for the darkness go next? So, Wulftan, I asked you, and we filled in some of the details. What's your current thinking?
Not sure. I mean, we could. I feel like Wulfstan's instinct isn't to like talk to people. It's more to like go out, look for clues somewhere, or maybe try to call on Odin in some way. But I'm not sure I really have the. That doesn't feel right here. Yeah, I don't have a strong sense of where to
That's
go
fine.
next, so I'm happy to defer.
So let me go to Merryn. Merryn, our sword of God.
Yeah, who's back in the village and been spurned by Ranfrith, the disloyal champion,
Mm-hmm.
who, when Merryn offered our services and asked him about about Ranfrith and any dark forces that may be acting on it, he just accused us basically of bringing the darkness.
Yes. It was fine till you arrived.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's nighttime now, isn't it? I think the Merryn.
I think they set off in the dark,
Yeah.
and then you had a conversation with him, and so I was all set to cut to the following morning, unless you've got something else you want to do before they get back.
Well, I just wasn't sure if they were coming back or there was more
Well,
to explore within the caves, But Merryn will. I'm happy to cut. Merryn, mistrustful look at Renfrith, and then to hit the hay, basically.
So yes, and I think the question that came up towards the end was the fact that several of you were wearied, but because of the fact you went out and did all that in the dark, you won't get that wearied and marked, so you remain wearied. So yes, let's cut to the morning, and cocks crowing, and people begin to move around the village, and with that in mind, Merryn, have you any thoughts what you want to do with the start of the day?
I think I'd be awaiting for them to come back, to
And they come back in the
yeah.
wake everybody up just pre-dawn.
Yeah, you see Merryn shaking his head as you come back and say, "Well, I hope it was worth it. You get lost in the woods, or did you make it to the caves?"
Wulftan, what's your response to it?
We made it to the caves, and well, they're haunted.
Well, they're no longer haunted.
They could still be.
Sure.
Restless spirits.
That particular spirit is probably not coming back.
And good riddance.
Well, then is our work done?
Do you feel like our work is done?
I feel we are unwelcome.
Well, no strangers to that, I would say.
Aye.
I suppose my key question is whether you want to take a risk on a revelation on the basis of the insights you have, or whether you want to seek additional insights. And if so, where and with who or with what?
I think Deryn would definitely want more insights. I feel like that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me come to Deryn then and say where do you think that you would want to look for those insights?
Well, that is the question because well, because most of these people seem rather untrustworthy.
It must be said, you have created a pretty unpleasant cast of supporting characters here. We
Yeah,
have the greedy Lady Bargitha, the disloyal champion Ragfrith, the vicious priest of Woden, Throthred,
yeah, I'm the only one
and
who got something slightly positive.
yeah, Tunwig the dishonest outcast, and Sigu the naive grower. So I mean, you
Yeah,
may have boxed yourself. There may be a learning point there in terms
yeah.
of creating your cast of supporting characters, but it's a game to learn, isn't it? We've got plenty of time.
No, shifty, horrible people. Everyone being a suspect is, Brindlewood Bay, right?
They
They
have
give you an
also
explanation
they
for
have
everything.
buttons you can push, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well,
So,
let me put it that way then. Deryn, Derwin, which buttons do you want to push?
I mean, I'm torn between the Lady Bargitha and Sigu, but I feel like for very different reasons. But I feel like given that Sigu is so naive, maybe she's also not the most uh how do you say? Astute person. So um it might make more sense to try and talk with Lady
Bargitha.
Bargitha. I'm not very good with these names. Yeah.
Okay, well then, so I think I'm seeing you in the Great Hall. Uh, you know, uh, some oatmeal has been prepared as hospitality requires, and Lady Bargitha appears and sits down to eat with Rothdred, the vicious priest of Woden.
Hmm.
So, what do you do with that setup?
I mean, okay, this is the problem, right? I think they are not very good with people. So, so I'm not sure if they'd probably. I feel like Deryn would probably go like to maybe probably to Merryn and go like, I think it would be best if you were to speak to the lady, and I would like to just observe what is happening, if that makes sense.
To Lady Badgeetha. Well, we are in a pagan settlement, yes?
Well, a Saxon settlement, so everyone who's not a follower of Christ God is a pagan to some extent. I mean, yeah. So yes,
Yes.
Yeah, I
But
mean, on that basis, maybe not, but
not a follower of Christ. Maybe maybe I'll go and evangelize her and say that your
well,
village should not be thingy. No, I will go speak to. I will. As you wish, Deryn. I suppose Derwin is the one with the smooth tongue. He
I'm
winks.
not sure either have that kind of gift. Um, but yeah.
Well, Ragthrift, the champion, was well, for a village to have a champion such as him. Perhaps Lady Badgitha will be more concerned with her people than her status.
Or at least with what she stands to lose or gain.
Indeed. He will take his sword.
remember, all your weapons by your knife are kept at the door.
Yeah, not to the hall. To the. I was putting it aside before we approached the hall. Yeah.
And there is Lady Bardgeitha in conversation with Throthred.
My lady, and you'll look for a long second of dubious appraisal at the priest of Woden, and then nod and say, "Priest."
Yes.
There is some darkness that afflicts this village. Yes, last night, chalices of blood.
It is something I was just discussing with my lady.
Well, what strength does the priest of does Father Woden have for this village?
We are devout in pursuit of the All Father's wishes. My view is that this was a signal that perhaps those of other faiths were not welcome.
That is rather the sentiment around here, yes. So simple, though?
Hospitality, and again he looks at PbtA and hospitality. I cannot in conscience deny you hospitality, but we have other troubles. We do not need your undead god bleeding in the halls of Woden.
Well, Christ's light shines on us all.
And his blood drips from everywhere. And there are probably some servants who are still scrubbing up some of the blood that the wine and ale turned into last night.
Well, my companions traveled to the caverns outside this town, and they say they encountered a spirit risen against you.
A spirit, says PbtA. Are you sure it wasn't a scout?
It was no man, no living. A manacled owner of slaves turned locked there by his former prisoners.
One of Eotenweard's slaves?
Who is this Eotenweard?
He is a greedy and disreputable neighbor. And he covets what we have here.
I do not think it was the work of this Eotenweard, my lady.
So you seek, she says, to point blame away from yourself and that of your companions towards some spirit?
I bring a warning. But if you wish us gone, so be it.
What do you want out of this conversation?
Well, I mean, I think, to be honest, I think this is maybe more of an opportunity for a look about you than anything else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps even Deryn, who I don't know if it was just sort of like nervously quietly looking backwards and forwards.
No, I'm imagining, Deryn's sat away at one side over a bowl of oatmeal, but paying attention.
Yeah.
So if Deryn wanted to look about them, I would have no problem with that.
So I was thinking about, trying to look for subtle signs of, showing that maybe she does know more about this and is just, using the very simple scapegoating technique, and that sort of thing. Because I think, again, Deryn isn't so good at talking to humans and also continuing to seem human, and but they are quite good at watching and observing people.
I'll give you an option. You can roll with sense as a straightforward observation, and the risk is that they may spot you watching them, or you can roll with subtle to do this in a stealthy way that suggests that they might not notice you. There are different risks with each, but the choice is yours.
Cool. Sure. Can I use my move that I have now chosen?
Oh, go on.
which is prior knowledge. When you phrase a question about some recent strange or uncanny event, they delve into their long experience before you two were joined and grant you advantage to look about you.
Okay.
And I feel like, well, the question is about an uncanny event and about the knowledge of, the townspeople, especially the lady herself. And who else is in the conversation? The priest.
The priest. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And maybe they, well, first of all, have more experience with uncanny events, but also with people, I'm sure, because I feel like they're probably much older than me. So yeah. And then in that way, I'd still use subtle or sense, is that correct?
Yes, but you would be doing so with advantage.
Yeah. Well, I guess good a time as any to use this -1 stat.
And tick it off on the route to an XP.
Exactly. Or is
Go
everyone
ahead.
going to be angry with me for that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go. Yeah, at least it's with advantage. Here we go. Oh God, why is this mouse so difficult to use? Okay, here we go.
It looks like an 8 -1 is a 7. So
Well,
there you go.
just
Tick,
about.
tick that on your way to an XP. Use stealth or misdirection to do so. Roll for subtle. On a 7 to 9, your action breeds disadvantaging suspicion. I think they don't notice, but I think we see one of the servants notice you paying some attention to our main protagonists.
Can I help another hero after that roll?
In what way would you wish to help?
Well, in the conversation that I'm having with them is my subtle misdirection, knowing full well that this is to offer an opportunity,
Okay. Yeah, if you want to help another hero with a roll plus subtle, I will go with that. Your cunning plan at play.
+1 in subtlety. No, nothing.
So that's a 5. So okay. So help another hero, 6-. You fail, and the original move outcome defaults to 6-.
Shit, I shouldn't have done it then.
With both of you suffering the consequence of that.
What? I didn't realize I could lower the result either. I hadn't read it that clearly. Whoops.
Yeah, I didn't realize either.
No. Oh,
so
God.
I get to high stakes. I get to mark the first in the dreary manifest the darkness. Let me see what form the darkness takes.
When all seems lost after your roll, when you are dissatisfied with the outcome roll, it doesn't involve a patron favor or gift. Say how your playbook is relevant to an action. Call on a patron to save the day and spend favor. Improving outcomes. O and P.
Yeah, I mean, you tried to help another hero and it's failed miserably.
Yeah,
So-
and then if
so-
I move that up to a 7 to 9, then they'll suspect. Well, yeah, it's just a way of recovering from absolutely sabotaging.
Yeah, no, I think that that's too good a sabotage to miss out.
You
So on dreary.
can tell we're missing our storyteller, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. The only one with a kind of personality that involves talking to people. So the Hand of Fate moves to manifest the darkness. A manifestation of the darkness strikes at the settlement or a significant NPC. Before you can get any sense of what you are wanting, Deryn, you hear screaming in the village outside the hall. What do you do, Wulftan? Because you're kind of aloof from this, as you are aloof from most things, and you hear the screaming. What do you do?
I brush out with Grey Paw by my side.
And you see people scattering away from the village well.
Then I go towards the well.
Run towards the danger.
Yeah.
When you get to the well, you see a bloody hand reach over the top of the the stone surround for the well. Merryn and Deryn, that well-known double act. Merryn, you hear this scream. It is fair to say that Lady Bargitha looks at the door to the hall, and Hrothred looks at you. What do you do?
I stride away through the door, sparing, meeting Hrothed's cruel gaze as he scowls at me, because I believe he's got the adjective cruel, hasn't he?
Vicious. He's vicious.
Vicious.
Yeah. Deryn, what about you when this happens? Same.
I abandoned this mission because this clearly doesn't work.
So Wulftan, people are scattering away, and a woman says, "There's something in the well."
Yeah, I look around for some sort of weapon or tool or something to strike with, because I don't fancy going up against something crawling out of a well with my bare hands if I can help it.
Oh, have you not chosen some weapons down there on row 57?
We left our weapons outside the hall.
No?
Yeah.
So you pick up the two things. Yeah. So I can't remember what they were.
I have. Well, I haven't. No, okay. I did not realize I was supposed to pick. Well, axe and bow.
Axe and bow. Fair enough. So with that in mind, what do you do as a second hand appears at the top of the...
I'll take my axe and strike at those hands, because it's hard to climb without hands.
Run and strike or throw?
No, I go in and go close and strike. I don't want to throw my axe into the well.
Okay. As you rush up to attack these hands, a face covered in blood running down. No, you just attack it. Okay. So I am going to say that this has a couple of defenses. This threat, I am going to give it a defense of horrible visage. It is a scary looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm going to give it the difficulty already dead. ... So do you want to confront the horrid visage or the fact that this thing is already dead?
Let's go with the face first. An axe to the face.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to make it less horrible, but
that's my question. That's my question. So you're going to try and demonstrate that this visage is not horrid enough to okay.
Yeah.
So confront with steel then.
Yeah. Back to Hela. So let's see. I have steel +2. Let's see if I can do this right. 2d6 and +2. That is a 12.
Well,
Don't help.
So on a 7+, that defense is erased. I mean, literally, you striking to this, and the face. Truth be told, the face is less solid than it looked. This is more blood than skin and bone. I'll erase that. On a 7+, they pick 1. I'm going to take the opportunity to flee the scene in a moment, but I'll let you get your 10+. You also say how you pick: force them to where they are disadvantaged, reduce harm by 1, block all harm, immediately try to humble them. If they're defenseless, they're not. They still have, they're already dead. Impress your patron enough to gain 1 favor, or impress a mortal NPC enough for their faction to owe the heroes a debt.
Well, I don't want to sacrifice my weapon.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, you because it's not going to do harm. It's not show it's not
oh,
done
okay,
harms
okay.
established.
Then I don't need to do that
No,
anyway. Um, I think I want to gain favor, probably.
yeah, I think your immediate response will always impress Woden if you just charge into danger, um, and then it just lets go and disappears into the darkness. So you could mark favor, and at that point, Merryn and Deryn, you arrive at the edge of the well. And you can see there are blood smears on the top, and you can see there are blood smears, when you look in, you can see some blood smears on the wall of the well, and then it disappears into darkness. Merryn?
I just look back at the Lord's Hall to see if Hlorstead has followed and observed my companion fighting back this
Yes,
design.
I think so. And I think there's a sense in which, and I just want to check my heritages here. Yes, I think that there is a sense in which Throthred sees this, and maybe in that swing, we'll have seen a pendant with Thor's hammer on it, swing up around Wulfstan's neck to identify him with Woden, and uh, and Throthred points and says, "See, Woden sends strength to defend us." Vicious opportunist, priest of Woden.
Yeah.
And Lady Bargitha kind of puts her hand on his shoulder and whispers in his ear.
I'd like to look around to see what the champion Ragthrift is making of someone stealing what is his glory.
Yeah,
being the champion of Woden.
Yeah, because he was very, very twitchy about that when you suggested we could help. What's in it for me was the sense you got. But let's have you look about you with a straightforward sense, I think, unless you're trying to keep this under the radar.
You only untick your boxes once you've
filled all four.
Right.
So yeah, once you've filled all four, untick them and add an XP.
Yeah. Can't look around me with steel. Okay. What do I have in sense? A lovely -1. Oh, a 7.
A 7? Well, that's all right, isn't it? So on a 7, I think that I think that on a 7 you see anger in him. Is it him or a her? I've forgotten.
I think it's him.
Him, yes. And he, he looks from Lady Bargitha to the well, to Wulfstan, back to the priest. And clearly he is angry because his sword had not cleared its sheath at the point that Wulfstan had done away with the creature. On a 7 to 9, he is active. You are now at disadvantage with him because he knows that you know what he thinks. Yeah. Deryn.
I would like to express my burden and throw my axe frustratedly into the dirt and go like, goodness, why am I always too late?
Fine. Give yourself a favor. As people kind of scatter away, axes flying now.
I will pick it up again, obviously.
Yeah. I've got sudden flashbacks of John McEnroe at Wimbledon, and whoa, and people kind of just back off away from Deryn, who's been very kind of low key so far. But I think this does count as a significant enough circumstance for us to think about seeming human. Seeming human, you are human, damn it. However, they sometimes reveal themselves in subtle ways that others can sense. The first time during a session that you have significant interaction with a mortal NPC, i.e., all the village that's watching, roll plus favor.
That was a good job. I just increased that.
Exactly so.
All right. Doo-doo-doo.
Six plus favor?
9.
9. 7 to 9. Any mortals you encounter during the session are inexplicably suspicious of you, so you make social rolls with disadvantage.
Eh,
I mean, to some extent, it has felt like that has been in play already, but no, that has not been true. People are, I think, frightened of you because you described yourself as brooding, didn't you? And then they see you snap, and suddenly, the quiet ones are the dangerous ones. I think that's worth an insight, all of that. Wulfstan, I'm going to attach this to you because you were at the sharp end. What are we thinking?
I'm not sure exactly what makes for a good insight here.
Okay,
But I
well-
mean, a bloody face climbing from the well. I don't
Well,
know
I
if
mean, an insight should be sufficiently connected to the fiction,
Mhm.
but it should be sufficiently open to be applied in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
Maybe something like the undead are rising, or I don't know.
Yeah, or bloody handprints, maybe.
Or the
Bloody-
dead are rising, really. But yeah, anyway.
Bloody handprints. I think bloody handprints
Yeah.
is okay. So if you went for a revelation immediately, you would now be at +1. Just saying. This all seems, I mean, Wulfstan is now quids in. Lady Bargitha comes to you and hugs you, and then holds you at arm's length and says, "You can help us. You are blessed by Woden. He favors you. I need you to kill a man."
Great.
I think Wulfstan just kind of takes half a step back, wipes his axe on whatever piece of cloth or something he can find, his own cloak if there's nothing else nearby. And I think he just answers, "Oh, I'm going to ask the other players here, do we want to push for more of a confrontation? Because I could put this on them having a priest of Wodan here who's clearly not doing their job. But I'm not sure if we want that, or do we think that's interesting?"
I mean, I think it's up to you. I would push for, at least getting to know what that is all about.
Yeah, cool. Then I will do that. And I think with kind of a side-eye glance at this priest who's clearly not doing her job, I think Wulfstan. I'm trying to. If a priest of Wodan, master of the dead, cannot keep Draugr out of the village, I think you have greater problems than a man who needs killing.
Ooh, so what are you wanting? What are you hoping is going to happen?
I want to see how Hrothred reacts to this, to see if she is offended or maybe looks scared that she's been found out, or if she's just taking it and looking for an opportunity to strike back.
Okay, well, I think that this is a sufficiently charged circumstance for this to be you taking a risk.
Okay.
To act in a difficult circumstances to overcome a challenging situation, I think that we need to have some idea how she may act. So, I think I'll give you a choice. I think I could go with steal, or I could go with probably subtle. If you're trying to draw her out, then maybe that's subtle rather than the kind of open threat of steal.
Yeah. And since I haven't marked subtle, I'll roll with that.
Well, I mean, that's that you are recognizing a rule structure in motion.
I have a +0 to subtle though, so we'll see how this goes. That's a 6.
Ooh.
That's not as good. Maybe now someone could help.
Yes, now someone could help.
I wonder, is there anything I could do to help?
Do I immediately clear the marks and mark an XP when I've marked all 4?
Yes.
Or is that at the end of the session?
No, it's immediate.
Okay.
So it's for you to say, Anders, it's for Wulftan to say if you want help, in which case we'll ask if anybody's prepared to offer it, or there is when all seems lost. After your roll, when you are dissatisfied with the outcome of your roll and it doesn't involve a patron, favor, or gift, which in this case it didn't, say how your playbook is relevant to your action, call on a patron to save the day, and spend favor. And then you get to reroll.
Well, since this, I mean, I am devoted to Wotan or Woden, and I specifically called out Woden, and she's a priest of Woden, so that's definitely relevant.
Fine, spend favor and roll one or both dice.
One or both. Okay. I rolled. Can I see what the rolls were? A 4 and a 2. Well,
Yeah.
I'll re-roll the 2.
Okay.
Do I'll just roll another die, or is there a function
just I don't think there is one to pick up.
Cool.
So just roll a single d6 and we'll look at that. So failure becomes a 10.
Nice.
It says if your outcome improves, say how your patron's help manifested.
Ooh. Well, I think, I have my mask on, right? And I think the way the sun is hitting me right now, it's just one of my eyes glints. So the other eye is in shadow.
Love it. Okay.
Oh, and of course also Grey Paw just by my side, like the wolves. So
on 7+, you succeed, but fate picks 1. I think the other complication here is that you're going to get a sense that this is a woman who is an opportunist, and is cruel and vicious with it. Nobody likes her. Her temper is dangerously vicious. But she's always looking for opportunities to ingratiate herself with Lady Badgitha. And I think that the complication for you of that outcome is negligible. You say how you gain advantage from your success, impress your patron enough to gain one favor, or impress a mortal NPC enough for their faction to owe the heroes a debt. Now,
So
any one of those, I think, could be relevant in the current circumstances.
yeah, seems fun to get a debt from a faction. And I think, so what factions are in play here?
So all the factions are the kingdoms. So this is
Okay.
in Bernicia. So Bernicia will owe you, anyone in Bernicia, in theory, could be cashed in for this because word will travel fast.
Mhm.
So you can use that in this session with any of these locals, or in some later session if you think Bernician might be in play. Let's see if Zena can get back in. And I think that's probably where we're going to take our first break, to be honest. We'll wait to see if we get Zena in so we can tell them that we're breaking for 5 minutes or so.
Hi, my internet just failed.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
just one more thing.
yeah.
Does my muted reaction count enough towards ticking for aloofness?
Oh, that's interesting. Yes, I'll go with that.
Cool.
So
So,
tick that and gain yourself a favor.
Then I will definitely take the debt.
Okay, I've added a debt for Benicia, and you've caught up with your favor. And we're going to take a break now. I'm going to suggest we're back in our seats at 1:15. Okay, see you then. So to eat. So we went to commercial break on something of a confrontation between Wulftan and our vicious priest Hrothgred, and I think that there's a moment when you think that she might fly at you, and then she turns away and says to Lady Bargitha, "It's become clear to me, my lady, it's him." And she points at Tunwig, our dishonest outcast, and says, "If we kill him, it will bring an end to this." And, people act on that because he's dishonest. Nobody likes him. He's an outcast because you can't trust him. And people grab him. Deryn, what, if anything, do you do when you see this happening? And nothing is a perfectly legitimate response.
No, I think this reminds Deryn far too much of what happened to them in response to their, I don't know, blip of consciousness. And so that's probably quite, I don't know, triggering or whatever. So I think they will actually speak up. I mean, they've already made everyone suspicious.
You are already frustrated. How does that frustration play into your response?
I think it'll be, they'll be quite loud in, especially in comparison to normally. And they'll probably just storm into the middle of this and shout like, "Oh yeah, it's very easy to just blame the outcast anyway. That's not going to help you." And just try to actually get between the people, the townsfolk or the villagers and the guy.
I think it's Hrothgred that you need to get in front of, because Hrothgred is about to instruct them to impale him.
Okay.
So, I'm assuming that though you were off camera eating, that you picked up on that. So Deryn has waded into this saying, "It's too easy." Merryn, what, if anything, do you do?
I think, well, Hoffred is the ladies accuse the outcast, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so these villagers, these pagans,
The vicious priest has accused the
Yeah.
outcast.
yeah. I think the problem is that Merryn doesn't feel any. Perhaps the priest is right. Maybe it is this. I have no idea about who Deryn is. We've never talked. He doesn't seem a victim. He seems untrustworthy. He seems deceitful. I think that Merryn will isn't going to interfere with Deryn. Trying to interfere, but will defend. If anyone lays a hand on one of his companions, he's gonna.
Okay. Wulfstan. Merryn, maybe there is a hand resting on his sword or whatever. I can't remember what you're armed with, but what about Wulfstan?
Yeah. I think like Wulfstan is still very suspicious of this priest who can't keep the undead even out of the village. Ooh, yeah, Deryn was like stepping up to try to stop them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Wulfstan is right there with them. And now I think openly like pointing at Hrothgar and it's if a village is beset by the restless dead, you should look to the one set to guard the borders between life and death, not I'm trying to think of some dismissive, like just something dismissive to say about about this outcast.
At which point, Hrothgar says, "My lady, we are outside the bounds of the hall. This man has insulted me more than once. Bring me spear, bring me shield. I challenge him. We will see who Woden favors." And Tunwig is restrained. A couple of people set to watch him, and the rest of most of the villagers form a circle around Wulfstan and the priest. It becomes, I suppose, quite important now what Deryn and Merryn do. Interfere or not, Merryn? No.
Wulfstan's got this, and it's a duel. It's a duel between people of Woden. That's certain. What more can you expect of these people?
Yeah, you've got no skin in that game. What about Deryn? Or are you more interested in Tunwig?
Well, Deryn is interested in them not making any hasty decisions, and they feel like it's probably going to be down to whatever happens between them, these two. But I don't know if it look good to anybody if somebody else interferes when you've been challenged to a duel. But I think they're probably standing there sort of between, the restrained Tunwig and you two, and just sort of clenching their fists and sort of watching very, very I don't know, anxiously, because I think they would probably step in if things look dire. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you are going to be in the circle of the crowd, watching to see what happens.
Hmm.
Wulfstan, it looks like the expectation is that you will take part. I just want to check that that's okay
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
unless Wulfstan, gives me a look or something. But like otherwise, I feel like
No, I'm fine with this. Um, I think I will. Um, oh, let's see. Um, I think I'll turn to Merryn. Um, I know your god has no part in this fight, but would you lend me your shield?
He looks at it with its symbol of the Christ God daubed across it. And he says, "Of course, Wulfstan. It will be a pleasure. Make sure you bash it off his head."
Her, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. And so we have, I'm guessing, hand axe and shield versus spear and shield, yes?
Yep.
Spear has the range on you,
Hmm.
so you will need to find a way to get past that spear point before you can do anything.
Yep.
But let's have you. So, is that where we start? How do we narratively do this? I can tell you that the defenses you are seeking to overcome here
Hmm.
are her shield, and that she is, like all decent adults of this time, skilled in war.
Hmm. Well, I want to use my move. I have a move for
Oh, go
this.
on.
I have only fools rush in because I assume she counts as a threat at this
Oh,
point.
she is a threat. She is a
Yeah.
threat.
So when you first encounter a threat and take time to consider how best to defeat it before confronting it, look about you with advantage, but you can only ask the fates about its weakness.
Fine.
So
Let's
I
do
think this
that.
is us circling, and
Yeah.
partly me watching her as we're preparing, and I assume they're like drawing up a circle or something, or at least arranging a spot for us. And then as we start to circle, I watch her how she moves and how she holds her spear and shield.
Right. Let's have you roll with advantage to look about you. I think this is sense. I don't think there's anything
That makes
stealthy here.
sense.
Is a kind of a logical assessment.
Yeah. Greypaw also helps me with look about you. I don't remember if
Ooh.
that was all the time or is that.
You have to spend favor to get that benefit, but it'll only grant you advantage, which you already have from the move.
Oh, do I?
Well, the move isn't that move.
When you first
Uh,
encounter a threat. Oh, yeah, look about you with advantage. Yeah,
advantage, yeah.
absolutely. Then that does not matter. So I will roll 3 dice plus 0. And that's a 7, scraping by.
Wow, close run thing. So on a 7, I can tell you that her weakness is her viciousness.
Mhm.
There is a tendency for her to want to inflict pain as much as it is to end this fight efficiently. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
So that you now know her weakness, and that will grant you advantage on confront them. So shield, skilled in war. How do we see you? Um, you're gonna have to get close enough to do either.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I will draw on that viciousness and offer what seem like offer openings that to tempt her to strike so that she extends her spear and I can step aside and get in
Okay.
close.
Okay. Well, let's face a challenge to get up close and personal before you confront them. So face a challenge.
Cool.
That sounds like a subtle and cunning plan or a carefully plotted response. So sense or subtle. I'll give you the choice.
Well, I just rolled sense, so let's roll subtle then, because I have +0 in both. So just 2 dice this time.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because knowing her weakness, what does that give me?
It doesn't give you anything. It'll give you advantage when you finally get up close and personal to confront.
Cool.
But to
Yeah.
close that ray, oh, look at that, a 9.
9.
You succeed, but the fate picks 1. You take harm as established. Take 1 harm
Cool.
as she batters you with the shield on the way in, or maybe out. And
Can
so
I
go
use
on.
the shield to prevent that?
You can, well, no, you can't. Not
Not
confront
for
them.
this book. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you took the risk of getting in close and you succeeded,
Absolutely.
but at a slight cost.
Mhm.
So now you can confront. Do you want to take out her shield or render her less skilled in war? And if so, how?
I think less skilled, and I think this is going for like striking at her leg or something, striking at her leg so she can't move as fast.
I think that's probably subtle or steal.
Well, I'll go with steel then, because
Just working your way through the boxes.
yeah. Why not? So 2d6 plus 2. That's a 9.
9. Okay, 7 plus. So yeah, tell me how do you succeed in that? What does the move look like? What do we see on screen?
Yeah, I think this is I tempt her with an opening. She stabs forward with her spear. I step aside, move in, and strike at her leg as she's extended, and then step back.
Fine. 7 plus, that defense is erased, but they pick 1. Harm is established. 1 more harm.
Cool.
Where are you at now?
Now I'm bad. I'm marked my first on dying.
Oh, so yeah, it she whips that spear round and just cuts your calf.
Mhm.
So now you could be at disadvantage in certain circumstances. But we are left with you now faced with her shield. She's stumbling back and battering you with the shield, trying to get enough range on you again to put you at disadvantage relative to the spear. So what do you do to take her shield out of and render her susceptible to being humbled?
I think, I mean, axes are good against shields, but I think locking shields makes sense here. Like taking my own shield and just blocking her as much as I can, pushing close.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds like steel.
Cool.
That's just brute force and ignorance.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
You are killing me. That is a 12. Okay. 7 plus, fine, that works. The shield is gone. But you, as she stumbles away from you, you stumble forward at disadvantage.
Mhm.
But on a 10 plus, well, take your pick, really. There's no harm in coming.
This is face a challenge, right?
No, this is confront them now. We're
this is
in
confront them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's no harm in coming.
No, she disadvantaged you.
Yeah, then I will disadvantage her, I guess.
I mean, the other, yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense, unless you want favor or a favor.
No, I think I need if I'm at a disadvantage, I'm wounded and all of that. I need as much help as I
So
can.
you stumble forward, she stumbles back. That your calf is a bit hurt. She's overbalanced. She is defenseless. When a threat is defenseless, say what you do to put them at your mercy and roll with the attribute. So what do you do to finish her one way or another?
I think this is just going forward with the axe, battering at her shield and her spear, just keeping them away enough that I can get close and push her down to the ground and like threaten the
Put
killing
her
blow.
at your mercy. That sounds fine. Roll with steel.
Cool. And now I have disadvantage or advantage, right? From
Uh,
my knowing her weakness.
no, you had that at the very start. Did you not use it?
No.
Oh,
Oh, but I
no.
rolled a 12 there.
Yes. So no, it
Yeah,
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. Yeah, cool. Sorry, I just missed yeah, okay.
No, your disadvantage is cancelled.
Yeah. Well, I get an 11, so it's fine.
10 plus. Say, so 7 plus. They're at your mercy. Do you spare them so their faction owes you a debt or end them?
Well, I think I'm going to spare her. I mean, she's not a good person, but I think, or no, actually, I think I end her. I think she's not a good priest, and she tried to put the blame on someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's too vicious to go away meekly. I think so.
Yeah.
So, yes,
That
you
too.
end her. And what the move says is, on a 7 plus, you end them. You don't get the 10 plus benefit, but then there's no downside either. So, and the crowd goes, "Oh," and everyone looks at you, including the Lady Bargitha, for some lead on what happens next, Wulfstan, because Tunwig is still over there. You know, the crowd parts, so we get a
Yeah.
view of Tunwig with his hands bound behind him,
Mhm.
and two villagers now looking slightly uncertain standing over him. So what happens next, Wulfstan?
Yeah. This what haunts you is greater than what could be caused by a single um, a single man, venal though he may be. We must seek the threat is greater than that, and we must seek a greater answer than a single scapegoat.
I think that you will carry that argument at this point. Bargitha says, keep him under watch. It's almost like she wants to keep him in reserve just in case. Merryn, where are we going to go with this? I mean, is that it?
Well, what? That we've not come for Into the Dark, have we? We've not.
Well, I mean, you know, she was the prime candidate, was the feeling I was getting.
Well, what happens now, though? Because you can't.
Well, yeah, I mean, a revelation. You could seek to confirm or deny, or do you want to keep looking? I've never run a retrospective revelation, I'll be honest with you, but I'm perfectly prepared to see how the rules stand up to it.
Let's. I mean, the thing is, because the things we got so far, right, are dead slaves, thick walls, shackles are all that remain, bloody handprints, right?
Yep.
There was the ghost of a former slave owner within the caverns, right? But slavery, from what I understand.
Well, no, hang on. You don't get to play. Can I connect these three to make sense until you trigger the move?
No, but I think we do need to talk about it in terms of how does the story actually make sense. Otherwise, we're never going to get to the revelation, right?
No. You want to trigger the revelation? I'll have you trigger the revelation when the players believe they have sufficient insights.
Yeah, I just don't see anything that connects it to
her.
Any of the NPCs at the moment. You know, there's no connective tissue on any of it, which is why I'm talking about it, to try and get to that point.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, you know, but each of you is going to connect a different one. So, it's not about one person coming up with a coherent story and everybody saying, yeah, that works.
So,
It's about
so
each
what
of
is
you in
it?
turn making a connection.
Yeah, I get it. It's just Merryn looks around at the village and says, "Well, I suppose then it was a disloyal priest of Woden. The trouble must be over, and we can leave, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's a response. What do you think, Deryn?
I don't think Darren's satisfied.
Okay, so
I
what is
think,
Deryn's suggestion?
well, I think Darren wanted to, first of all, act in frustration again and like rip these, I don't know, like push these guards away from the guy and going like, like what's this all about? Is this oh, you're just keeping him in case so you have your scapegoat in the end if it all goes
Oh,
badly. And yeah.
wow. Okay, well, what should we do with that? I don't think we'll do anything with that at this point. I think that Bagitha kind of gets and they say, "Oh, it's don't worry, we'll let him go home. He has a hovel." And they escort him to the hovel, but you do notice that they stand outside the door. Do you want to push your luck here, Deryn?
I mean, me, the player, just really wanted a chance to roll with steel at some point. But if you don't think that doesn't make
Well,
really
no, I
sense
mean,
to me then.
do you want to push it? That's my question. Do you want to face a challenge here and
I
push
mean,
it
we
with
might get
steel?
another insight out of it.
Well,
Probably not.
you don't know till you try, do you?
Yeah, I hope not everybody's going to be really cross with me for doing this.
Well, player agency. What do you want to do, Deryn?
Yeah, I think it also just fits because they've been so triggered by this because
Mm,
of this village elder that cast them out.
fine. Face a
Um,
challenge with steel as
I
you
have a
physically
question.
intervene. Oh, go on.
Yeah, but given that we already led to this ages ago because of why they are responding this way, right? Would this give me advantage then because of my duality move?
Um, let's have a look.
Any action related to the past or the world of the unseen. I guess it's like, I mean, the past in the sense of this is why Darren is responding this.
I think it's more about what they remember.
Okay, fine.
I
Then
think
I'm
it's
not.
about their experience of it. I think the move may need to be more precisely
Maybe.
ranged, but I think it's not meant to be that
All
wide.
right. That's
So,
cool then.
with that in
I'm just
mind,
gonna
take a challenge with steel.
just gotta roll 2d6 and it's a
Hmm.
+1, I think.
Well, that's a 10.
And it's an 11 with, yeah.
You succeed, but the fate picks one. I think I think you can't be certain that this job is finished. I think that when you push them away, they look to Lady Bogitha and she kind of, it's all right. But the respite for Tunwig is going to be potentially temporary.
Wait,
Right?
can I ask? Uh, it's an 11.
Yeah, but 7 plus you
So,
succeed,
yes.
and then
I
on a
can't
10
read it right now
plus.
because somehow my
Oh, I
tabs are
see.
not
Okay.
working properly.
So on 7 plus you succeed, but the fate picks one. And
Hmm.
that's going to be the respite is temporary. On 10 plus, you also say how you gain advantage from your success, impress your patron enough to gain a favor, or impress a mortal NPC enough for their faction to owe you a debt.
Okay, so I get to do something here to pick something.
You get to pick one of those three.
What makes sense here? I mean, I don't think the faction of Tunwig is going to be that useful to
No,
me.
it just disappears into the Bernicia pot.
Yeah,
You know,
that doesn't
some
really.
some other some other villager who thinks, yeah, that's probably true.
Also, it could be useful then.
You can come up with as long as you can fictionally convince me, I'm content.
Mm,
Or you just put a favor in the pot.
um, yeah, I think. Is there like a maximum of favor you can have?
I will see what it offers you.
Currently, it says 3. There's no other
No,
number.
there's nothing. You're maxed out at
I'm
3.
maxed out. Well, then I shall have, yeah, then I will have impressed a mortal NPC.
Okay.
And I think it makes sense that there's plenty of people, who will be going around mumbling about how this
Yeah.
priest wasn't really doing their job and that this just seems far too simple. Just
Just a
blaming
scapegoat,
this
even if
guy who's just
even if he's a
committed a,
scoundrel,
yeah,
you
but
know.
he's, just a petty thief or whatever, not a, yeah.
Okay. So the question seems to me to be, how are you going to roll for revelation?
Maybe. How does everybody else feel about it?
Yeah. Because what it says is when the heroes agree to consider the insights they have accumulated, they connect as many as they can into a coherent narrative that they agree identifies who or what embodies, or maybe in this context, embodied the darkness besetting the settlement. Once this is clear, the fates ask the heroes to frame the climatic confrontation, i.e., the discussion, perhaps, when you will confront, where you will confront, and which NPCs will be present. And then the fate of the settlement if you fail in this. Okay?
Mm.
So, who wants to kick off? Who wants to connect 2 of these?
So we're trying to connect them to each other.
You're trying to find some kind of fictional trail that leads you. I mean, if what you're testing here is that you believe that she was the source of the darkness, then can you connect this through?
But you said connect 2 of these.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not sure
no,
what the
sorry.
2 are.
So one of you picks 2 of them and connects it.
Okay.
Then the next person will connect that to the third one, and the third person will connect that fictional trail to our target.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
what do you think? Who wants to kick off? I mean, Octavia's not here, or I would have asked Octavia to start because she's got 2 insights in the pot. So, Merryn, you've already given this a bit of thought, Will. So, do you want to connect 2 of these?
The suffering, the dead, like someone being left shackled to starve to death inside of a cave, is a psychic kind of scar that resonates with the dead slaves that were formerly of this settlement.
Okay.
The suffering of ages honed into that one act of cruelty, of viciousness, one might say.
It's a vicious way to go about it, is it not?
Yeah.
I like that. How do you want to get from there to bloody handprints? I'm gonna come to Wulftan last, I think, because Wulftan put down the person that you think is the embodiment of the darkness, so it seems logical to leave him with that choice. So, Deryn, can you connect what Will has just fleshed out to us to bloody handprints?
You said what did you say? The suffering of the ages or through the ages or?
Yeah, just all the bad stuff that happened here when there were slaves and the thick walls and stuff, and then You know, the
Mhm.
the cruel ending that was brought to the to that
Yeah.
slave owner, you know, has left this place scarred by just the sheer amount of nastiness that's gone on here.
Grand. Okay. They are all of those things, you know, um, mean that I guess, yeah, that the place itself, you know, still sort of remains shackled and marked like a stain that won't come out, just like these bloody handprints.
Yeah, bloody handprints that have lasted down the ages.
Lady
Wulfstan,
Macbeth.
why does that implicate the woman you just killed?
Yeah, I think from like the bloody hands of the slave owner to the bloody hands of the slaves who revolted and took their revenge, to the bloody hands of the priest who took far too much delight in sacrifice and all of that. I think that her viciousness and delight in blood sacrifice is what's called forth these spirits and events of with connections to blood.
I think that is a very coherent argument for why it really should be the dead woman lying in this circle of villagers. So, let me now come back round. I think that when will you confront it? Well, now, you know, now is the test. Where? Right here, right now. Which NPCs are present? All of them. You know, it's in public. It's, you know,
Very simple.
yeah. But I am interested in what you think the fate of the settlement will be if you fail to clear the darkness that shadows over this place. Merryn, what do you tell me something about the fate of this place if this goes badly?
I mean, we already know it's gone well, right? I know we have to roll the dice.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
see.
you've got a very coherent argument. Time will tell.
I mean, it could also just mean that, you know, this person's the embodiment, but that doesn't necessarily mean the darkness itself has been cleared, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Because
interesting.
we're talking about the place being marked.
Yeah.
As in, I mean, if we didn't roll well, and then
Yeah.
it could be
Yeah.
something like, you know, history will repeat itself. Like it will mark someone else and influence someone else to
The cycle of violence
The cycle will
continues.
continue
Yes.
with the
Yes.
sacrifice of
violence
this
begets violence.
scapegoat.
Yeah, but violence begetting violence is kind of what Woden's all about. So,
Yeah.
what I think it is the you know, it's that the gods here haven't been honored by you know, all this cruelty and violence, right, has been of the wrong kind, you know, and so the fate that will be that Woden will, you know, part of this influence is that Woden is dissatisfied with,
Yeah.
you know, this priest who was not following his and all of the you know the treatment of the slaves, the cowardly death of the landowner, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's less cycle of violence and more cycle of cruelty, which is a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. Okay.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter which hero rolls plus the number of insights they've successfully linked. And I am prepared to say that you've successfully linked all three of them, so you are rolling +1 on this occasion. But do we think Wulfstan's done enough to take responsibility for rolling this dice, or do you think he's done too much and it needs to go somewhere else?
I was going to say that I've been rolling so many dice that I'm perfectly happy to let someone else do this.
I think that if this was a real dice game, Deryn's frustration would now boil to the top and say, "Give me those bloody dice." So I'm going to ask Deryn to roll.
Great.
So
you
so
can
this
all
is
blame me.
2d6 +1. Nothing else influences this roll.
Well, great. There we go.
Well, will you look at that? It's a
Well.
6. They picked the wrong person or thing as the embodiment of the darkness. So, as for 7 to 9, but also the real embodiment of darkness makes a surprise appearance, which disadvantages all the heroes. So, with that in mind, 7 to 9,
Amazing.
the fates will add a dangerous complication related to what they fear will happen if they fail. I think the dangerous complication is that the wound where Wulfstan, you finally ended the priest, a blow to the neck, perhaps, a gaping wound to the neck, begins to gush with fresh blood, which is probably indicative of the fact that there was more to this than met the eye. And as that blood flows, it begins to take on a humanoid shape, perhaps more than one humanoid shape. And what do you do in response to this? You are all surprised by this. You will all be disadvantaged. But it seems to me that a sword of God is always prepared. So what, O sword of God, do you do as this begins to happen? Because the villagers just scatter.
Yeah. Well, I attack it. I attack the some
Yeah.
devilry.
And what I think I will say is that you are right in a way, but ending her isn't enough to end the cycle. The cycle is driven by something else. She was a tool of that cycle. And so what we're going to have here is a group of, in effect, the bloody outlines of the slaves who were thrown into the ravine as punishment. So there we go. So, horrid visage plays plus already dead, but in this case plus numbers ... Yeah. Because the blood is blood is fountaining out of this body in an entirely unnatural and impossible way. And it is the root that you need to confront here rather than the vessel. So Merryn, let us have you horrid visage, already dead, or numbers.
I'll go for numbers, I think.
What do we see you doing as you try to stop? Because the blood is fountaining, and wherever it falls, figures are beginning to form out of the blood. What do we see you doing to try to stop these numbers developing?
Calling out, battle cry in Latin, and spearing them with his mailcoat, without his shield as he would normally have.
Of course, yeah, you've there. The shield is still St. Wulftan. So let's have you roll with steel. I think there's no question. I think about that. So roll plus steel.
Disadvantage, right?
With disadvantage, because but it was her.
So that is an 8.
8. Well, what a relief. 7 plus. Yeah, I mean, you get to a lot of these despite your surprise. Your skill and training puts you in a position where you are kind of almost whipping the shaft of the spear through these things to disperse them.
Well, he's also, back to the grave, foul abominations against God. The dead shall not rise, other than he. I'm going to be chanting my Christian faith in a zealotous way as I do so.
Okay. They force disadvantage on you. I think that the kind of frenzied way you have to come at this to take them down will leave you at disadvantage for the next round as well. I will come next, I think, to our frustrated Deryn. What do you do, Deryn? Horrid visage, already dead.
So I think I would. I don't know if you look. I chose as my god. I don't know how you pronounce him, but the Welsh god of the other world. the hunt.
Anun.
Yes. And I think it fits very well to then try to go and invoke my gift and go for the already dead part.
Okay, boundless vitality. So,
Yes.
so we are left with one significant figure here that is fully formed. And how does your boundless vitality,
Oh,
how do you intending your boundless vitality have an effect here?
so my thought was that I would go for the source, as in the blood that is
Yes,
spilling out from this
fountaining from this wound in
yeah.
an entirely unnatural and
So
gory way.
so I think I will with my boundless vitality, my feat of great strength, I would like to rush toward her and just grab that wound and press it and just with the sheer strength of my
Yeah,
hands stop
yeah,
the bleed.
yeah. I that sounds very exciting to me. So let's have you. I mean, it sounds like steel, but
Um
but you're using favor, aren't you?
yes, I thought I was gonna
Yeah, your
invoke my
boundless vitality. Yeah, so
yeah.
let's invoke your gift and see if favor will work for you here. Go
So
ahead.
that's just 2d6 plus 3, is that correct?
That is right.
Okay.
And hope that your gift delivers your chance to confront it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh, that is
goodness
a
me.
pair of ones.
That is
Okay. Well,
fantastic.
okay, Mark Shade. Well, as if that matters at this point. Um, I think we got plenty of manifestations of the darkness now. So, yeah, that's a little disappointing. So,
Yeah.
honestly, Mark Shade, expect the worst now or later. Um, I think another one appears. You go at it intending this boundless vitality to choke off the blood, and all you do is direct it in a different direction, where another figure begins to arise. So we now have two. Um,
Quick question. Does that, I mean, on the bright side, does that mean I don't spend favor?
it does mean you don't spend favor. Yeah, yeah, you only
Right.
spend favor or success. So yeah. I mean that's fine. Wulftan. There is the original one and the one that Deryn has just created. Which one is
So
your
sorry,
target?
But they still have
But both
the
have
two.
already dead and horrid visage. Yes.
Yeah. I think I want to go for the already dead by handing Merryn his shield back
Okay.
so that he can invoke the cross while I invoke Woden and go for the already dead.
So it's am I to read into this a roll plus favor rather than a roll plus steel?
Sure, I
Because it
will
does seem
take
to me
that.
that you want Woden to
Yeah,
stop these coming
that's true.
back.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
go
wasn't
ahead. Roll
thinking
plus
that
favor.
far ahead, but that's great for me because favor is the only one I haven't marked right now.
So confront them with favor.
But I'm still at a disadvantage, right?
Yes, you are.
Oh,
Oh wow, that's a pair of ones again. Gee whiz. I will mark shade. And just check whether Bleak offers me anything very interesting that's different. Um,
the
oh no, the
extremist
hand of fate
living.
moves to threaten the heroes. I think that's already in play. We're fine.
does this cost me favor to roll with favor here or no?
No, it doesn't. No, it's only where it specifically says. So you're
Okay.
okay. So on 7 plus Mark Shade, take harm as established. Aha, one harm.
Yeah.
And all the fates is less merciful. No, I think that that's merciful enough. Because you're on the edge now, I think.
Yeah.
Let me come back round to Merryn. There are two of these creatures, neither of which are has anyone had much effect on yet?
No, well, Wulftan is in a bad way.
He
Um,
is.
do I leave Deryn to hold them off while I try and use
Payne's Balm.
Bane's balm on? Yeah, maybe if like
Sure.
Wulfstan staggers backwards, to one knee,
Yes.
gasping,
Mhm.
uh, and Merryn will, hold his spear forwards at these abominations, but then look down and kneel beside Wulfstan and grasp his hands and say, you fight whether you know it or not, you fight in God's name, and He has mercy.
Amazing.
Okay. So let's have you roll to invoke your gift.
Yeah,
Roll plus favor, Merryn.
roll plus favor.
Please go better than the last two.
I did pretty well on my roll. This
Yeah, you did.
No, I meant the last two gift invoking
yeah,
rolls. Both.
yeah.
They...
Both had oh Jesus, oh, that's a pair of ones.
Yeah.
No,
That is remarkable. That is remarkable. Okay,
unbelievable.
I will mark shade. We could end up at dark here and stuff
All just
begins to
dead.
happen to the entire village.
Mhm.
Gee whiz. Okay.
All our patrons are unhappy with our actions here, clearly.
With
Gee
everything.
whiz. So, Mark Shade, expect the worst. I think that some of the ones that you dispersed are beginning to reform, Merryn. So we may have numbers back on the table. Oh my goodness me.
Fantastic.
But it becomes numbers rather than in two separate ones. So numbers are back. But they are one threat still. No, I've merged Deryn's in. So Wulfstan, that things looking a bit bleak. I would suggest maybe you look at the campaign moves where there is a move called Beyond the Veil. But let me come to Deryn, because in that moment when Merryn was trying to help Wulfstan, you kind of say there's more of them coming out of the ground. Where the blood has sprayed into the ground, they are forming again. So numbers, visage, or already dead.
Well, I think we're gonna go with already dead again.
Okay. Which approach will you take?
However, now, wait. May I please use my duality move now?
Now then, let's look.
What does this remind me of? A significant event when their knowledge helped me against, some otherworldly foe that I had absolutely no experience with. And when I first gained insight into,
once per session, remind us of a significant event. Go ahead,
Yeah.
remind me of an event.
Yeah, I think it must have probably also happened after I was cast out. When everything kind of happened after I was cast out when it comes to them, apart from that inciting incident. Yeah, I think I came I just how do you say that? I stumbled upon some cave that was trying to find some shelter or something, and unfortunately stirred up something that should have been left to rest, and their consciousness sort of helped me deal with this threat in a way that I couldn't have, because they made me aware of how to maybe, how do you say this? Yeah, channel the gifts of my god.
Okay. So
Who is hunting for souls. So this was,
yeah.
so we're trying to return these souls.
So this gives you some understanding of it. Yeah. And I think the understanding of it is that it is about dispersing the blood. It is about this is cruelty incarnate, this blood. And you need to somehow disperse it. And that gives you advantage to confront it. So how do you want to do that?
Disperse it as in, because I mean it is already
I've
spreading,
deliberately left it vague.
Dispersing, okay. I think and my question is just that, narratively this would be, again, it could be invoking the gift or it could be confronting with something. And I think, well, my question is maybe it would be with steel, as in starting to hack at the blood all around me.
Yeah.
To try and sort of splatter it a lot further.
Yeah. Do that.
Does that sound
because the blood is a mundane incarnation of cruelty over time. So yeah, go for it. Roll plus steel.
I mean, not that that's any better,
but you have advantage.
When you roll snake eyes, you're just not really gonna make any difference.
Advantage. 3 dice. What could go wrong?
Oh yes, there's an advantage. I forgot about that already.
Oh, close run thing. That's a 7. What's your steel?
Wait, what? Yes.
What's steel? Not enough to make.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's an 8, I guess.
Yes. 7 plus. Already dead. They are dead. But it does mean that you are covered in this blood. And that is going to kind of make it difficult to see stuff. You're wiping stuff away from your eyes. It's foul. You are drenched in this blood. So you're at disadvantage.
Wonderful.
And let me go next to, well, Merryn, Wulftan is there in your arms. Deryn is holding them off. But, Wulftan is not looking any better.
Oh, and God's grace is not passing through to save Wulftan. What's the 2 aspects remaining? Is
horrid visage and numbers. Numbers are back.
Numbers are back. I'll use you know what? Well, I mean, I'm motivated to mark steel again, right? Because then I can do 1 more close to an XP. So I will fight them once more. I will pick up my shield from Wulftan and say, God's grace may not be with me now, but the sword of God is with you, and I will attack once more.
Swirling this. So it's numbers.
It's numbers, yeah.
Numbers, go for it. Roll plus steel.
Do I have disadvantage due to last?
No, I know you do.
I think it was the outcome of my last.
And it was just mark shade and expect something to be the worst, wasn't it? No, you don't have disadvantage. The lot of you rolled 3 double ones. A 6. God. So close.
It's an 8.
It's an 8. This is an 8. Okay. So that does indeed get rid of numbers as you begin to spread, again, following from Deryn's disperse the blood. I think they inflict harm as established, and that is going to be 2.
Okay.
Wulftan. Merryn has stepped into the fray. Horrid visage. They are. I mean, this is just a disgusting situation to be in. There's, you want to retch. It's not that their visage is particularly individually horrible. It's just the whole concept is horrible. So how are you going to overcome that?
I think I will, because I think I'm still laying there on the ground, badly injured, and I think what I do is I still have my mask on, and I think I just take a handful of this blood and smear it on my own face, like on the mask, and just face this thing head on, showing that just trying to show that I'm not afraid of you. You should be afraid of me. As I stumble to my feet again
Yeah.
and
Drag yourself, push yourself upright.
yeah.
I think that's either, physical intimidation, that's your grit, that's your steel, or is it your faith? So steel or favor, the choice is yours.
I think it's steel at this point.
Yeah,
Because
sounds like it.
clearly our gods have abandoned us
Yeah,
and
yeah,
expect us to handle this
yeah. Woden has left the
on our
building, clearly. Yeah.
own.
The
Cool.
absence of the gods is what all we feel here.
Yeah. I do I have disadvantage at
You are
this?
disadvantaged given your condition at the moment, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Stumbling forward.
That unfortunately makes sense. But I still get an
Oh,
8.
oh, close run thing. So on a 7 to 9, Horrid Visage is gone. But I am very keen to see Beyond the Veil work. So I am going to inflict harm as established.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's
uh,
fair.
but given that we want to kind of finish a little early tonight, we may start next time with that move. But right now, Merryn and Deryn, Humble Them is available. Is it Deryn's frustration that drives her first, or Merryn's kind of strength of faith that drives you first? I think I'm going to go to the Sword of God to humble first, because this is clearly ungodly.
Yeah. The weakness was cruelty, yes?
No,
Vicious?
that you don't know the weakness of this one. You're simply on. You're now humbling them. They have no defense left.
Okay.
The threat is defenseless. Say what you do to put them at your mercy. They're still there, but they no longer have any of these defenses. Can you put this cruelty down?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think I'm going to use subtlety, the ability to convince. Not,
Ooh,
not misleading or dishonesty,
no.
just rhetoric,
Yeah.
and I'll start, sermonizing essentially, like forgiveness, turning the other cheek, kindness, the meek shall inherit the earth, all of that kind of stuff. Whatever the 6th century
Equivalent of all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that so? Roll plus subtle. The quality of your delivery is what this is about. Be gone, foul creature of the night.
An 8.
8. Okay, 7 plus. They're at your mercy. Do you spare them or end them? Grant them peace or destroy them?
Oh, I grant them peace, obviously, if those are the choices. Yeah.
I think that's how it would play.
Yeah. And I think that some of this is that these spirits have never been given the right burial. They've never been given any kind of honor in death. And even though it's not their god, the right of death, spoken over them, ashes to ashes, etc., is some semblance of honor and dignity that was taken from them.
So that's very neat. I think that's great. That works for me. Do we have time for the veil before you need to leave us, Andesh? Let's let's think about it. When
Yeah,
the
we can
di
do that.
when dying fills, your patron or their emissary appears to you and offers to clear dying. So we see you there at the point of expiry. And then, the blood, we see the blood has been running across some stone and it slows and stops. And time freezes for a moment. Um, is this a hooded man with one glinting eye, or is it somebody else? Is it a raven? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a pair of ravens appearing.
And that they carry word from Woden. He
Mhm.
he is he feels that your work here is not done. Because what is it? One of the ravens looks to the future, the other one looks to, is it? Oh gosh, it's
It's thought and memory.
thought and memory. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Um, uh, do you want to clear dying and return to the mortal realm? Is the key question.
Yeah, I mean, we want to do the move, right?
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah, it would be something of anticlimax. You say, okay, fine, you die. So roll plus current favor.
Cool. My favor currently is 2. 36 plus 2. That is a 9.
7 plus, pick one and mark it as used up. Permanently reduce subtle sense or steel by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Exchange your gift for an unused one. Or adopt an unused playbook, including an unearthly playbook, if the fates agrees. And I'll tell you now that I think the two unearthlies that would be on the table for you would be the Revenant or the Spirit.
Oof. Well, I am a sucker for new playbook. So, I think I would go for that. And but the Revenant, that I haven't looked at it, but that sounds very cool. I think I'm more
It's,
interested in that than being a spirit.
I
So
mean, literally rising from the dead.
yeah, the very thing we were fighting against.
I
That's
know, I
also
know, I know. You would become the Drogier.
This one isn't the cruel one.
No, exactly, exactly. Um,
yeah.
so you will return next time as the Revenant. You can
Cool.
help yourself to the. I'll move some of the stuff across because some of the moves will remain in place. Um, and I'm going to suggest that that's where we end as we see. Well, how do we know you've died, Wulfstan? As time speeds up and we see everyone, standing in the aftermath.
Well, I
Um,
think I think Wulfstan just collapses as the blood figures, the blood starts just flowing, and as these blood shapes splash to the ground, and then we three stand there, and then Wulfstan just falls over, and he's gone. Yeah.
and maybe Merryn and Deryn, rush to and Merryn is considering, can you call on the Christ God a second time to save him? And then the eyes flick open. And if we were doing seeming human, there would be some strange glint to
glowing.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where we'll pick up. We'll do the aftermath, but I'd like to do end of session XP and then maybe a bit of stars and wishes if we have time. So let me start with you, Anders. Did your burden make a difference for good or ill?
I think so. Um,
I think you certainly triggered it, didn't you?
yeah. I definitely did.
So you can
I
have one for
think,
that.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, weren't you very rather aloof toward the
Yeah,
priestess?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you address a challenge with cunning?
I mean, I don't really think so. It was more provocation and brute force. So
Yeah, I would tend
yeah.
to agree. So I think you can have one, not two. Moving along to the Sword of God. Did your burden make a difference for good or ill? I was certain you were going to run for zealotry at one point there, you know. I thought there would
I
be.
did in the sense that I mentioned it. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
did.
what's your threshold for it.
Well, yeah, no, I thought you get both the XP and the mechanical benefit. I thought you were going to go full zealot, but no, I think that there was plenty of, violent application of the creed
Yeah.
to a load of blood monsters.
Well, then I'll mark that. I don't think I addressed the challenge with not with self-sacrifice.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So you can have one, not two. Did your burden make a difference for good or ill? I think the frustration played quite a lot today.
Yes.
So you can have one for that. And did you and perception? Yeah, challenge with perception. This idea of using what it knew and what it could show you. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I give you perception. So you can have
Well, and I tried in the beginning but failed, but I
a.
still addressed it that
You
way.
still addressed it. Yeah, I mean, there's no requirement for success. Um, if do we have time for a quick stars and wishes? Is that okay? Fine. So, Anders, I'll start with you, just because then you can don't feel you have to hang about. So, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah. I really liked the shape climbing out of the well. That was very cool. Um, and Merryn invoking Christ at pretty much every opportunity.
Yes. Yeah. If in
Uh,
doubt, preach.
yeah. And Deryn going to the past to like find ideas for how to resolve this. I think that was interesting to see, and having that feeling that connection to this outcast being set up to be sacrificed, and finding that connection to Deryn. I really liked that.
Any
But
wishes for next time or further down the road?
well, finding out what the Revenant does.
Enough said. Enough said. Um, yeah, the unearthly revenant. So, yeah, and I will message you about which moves I think you're keeping and which ones make sense. Yeah. Any stars, any wishes, Xena?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the provocations that Wulfstan was throwing at the priestess. They were just, yeah, and not letting up. That was great, and also obviously triggered a lot of interesting scenes. And I had it in my I had it in my head just before what I really liked about Merryn's thing, but now it is not coming forth. Oh no, I think it was just this whole like yeah sermonizing at the end and then going oh yeah all of the forgiveness and Christ God da da. Um,
Any wishes?
wishes. I am interested to see how Grey Paw will react to the
Oh,
Revenant.
yes.
Because
Yes.
I wonder if he'll be a bit freaked out or not, or
Well, I mean,
yeah.
the strange thing is that Greypaw is not entirely wolf either, is he? Because didn't we have some talk about him? There was some kind of sense in which he was related to whatever was found in that barrow where this. Yes. Will, any stars, any wishes?
Um, I always enjoy a duel. Being challenged, someone being challenged to a duel and having to fight someone. I think it happened like 3 times in our first runs of Eotenweard. Every session, someone would challenge the Hammer of the Gods to a fight.
Exactly.
Lose
Yeah.
badly.
And it's been a long time since I've gone there.
Yeah, yeah. I like the sort of eerie, awkward, haunted Deryn. I think it fulfills a good part of the party in terms of, you know, like bad with people, but always like seeing something weird in between the cracks of like, you know, two otherwise quite blunt people. And yeah, wishes. I liked how it all ended up with the confrontation. The generative nature of it, the sort of like, you know, these people all exist and they just have the, you know, like the taglines, right? And then there's the various, you know, insights that we receive, right? But in, you know, in Brindlewood Bay, those are all the mystery, right? And I suppose the generative side of it's on our side of it now to sort of make it all match together, but feels very reactive sometimes, you know, like very, because and then like it's only as it builds up that you get a chance to hone those, you know, where are you going with those discussions, right? And I think it's not just the revelation move, you know, because it's where are the clues pointing you for your next action?
Yeah, I think
you need to be able to you do need to be able to talk about what that is before you go for that move.
I think the conversation is at the level of the insight. It's I tell you where in the first edition of Lovecraft-esque, there's an assumption that each of you is writing down what you think is going on here.
Yeah.
And the second also.
Oh yeah, yes, true. Actually, it's slightly better structured. I was referring back to the first one because that's quite mechanic. That's quite difficult to run because the assumption is that you think you've worked out what's going on, and therefore the next scene you build it on to the end of that. And I think what I'm trying for here is to have you thinking about possible routes from one to the other as you are describing them.
Yeah.
Well, in which case, I feel like that would need to be spelled out a bit more clearly.
Maybe. Yeah.
Also, I think it's in your opportunity to get those insights, right? Because you say when they get handed out, and then we define them, right? But I could be angling for my own theory to try and expand that in some way, right? And it could all just go nowhere, you know, because we've not decided that that's what's insight worthy. Because there's only one move on the board that lets you get an insight for sure, and to roll really high for it.
Yeah.
So it's quite. I think it's caught between you fleshing out the thing. I mean, the GM having an idea, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's my control of the clock, because the first time anytime one of you gets an insight, I mark the clock. Yeah. So it's my way of trying to pace the plot.
Session, yeah. I just think there's a tension between those two things. And,
maybe.
I think, you know. Story is easier to do these things when there is a threat, there is a reaction, right? When there is monsters out, when there is but at this, you know, if we think back to the actual narrative of what we've played through, right? There was everyone started drinking some cups and it was blood, and then we pretty much decided to go to the Dan Caves because they were a place on the map.
Yeah,
that was of interest, right? There was no clues towards it. There was no worsening. No one in this village actually thought anything was wrong beyond us being there, you know.
I mean, that's very true. That, you know, those locations exist for a purpose.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But maybe just there could be an invitation to players to go, like, to tell you, you know.
See you, Dash. Thanks.
Bye. Yeah. It could be an invitation to players to sort of go like, hey, so I'm angling for an insight and I'm kind of looking in this direction. And you could still say, yeah, but pacing wise, that doesn't really work, but we can maybe move in that direction or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'll give it a bit of thought. But for now, I will see you next time. I'm assuming it's all right for me to post this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. See you next time. Oh, yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah. Thanks, Will.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not the session.
No. We will be playing next week, but Will is somewhere else.
All right.
Don't anyone else die, you know. Don't want to come back to everybody being completely different playbooks than they were last time. Yeah.
Cheers, folks.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye.